Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here, and today we're coming back at you with another park ranked by you. This time we're going all the way to Florida for Busch Gardens Tampa. If you haven't seen one of these episodes before, make sure to go check out the rest. This is the 8th in this series, but realistically, we send out a Google poll to all of our lovely subscribers, asking every single one of them to rate the rides at a given park. We average out all of their scores and come up with the full ranking of every single ride or attraction at the given theme or amusement park. Before we get going with Busch Gardens Tampa, if you want to see the parks we've had ranked by you so far, here is just a quick list of all the videos in this series. Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags Magic Mountain, Disneyland, California Adventure, Universal Studios Hollywood, Islands of Adventure, and SeaWorld San Diego. All right, we've got 16 amazing rides and roller coasters to rank, so without further ado, let's go. Coming in at number 16, probably no surprise here. This is the kiddie coaster at the park, Air Grover, coming in with a score just under 4. Gotta say, this is a fun and perfect ride for the little ones at the park, alongside, of course, all of the other attractions that inhabit that area of the park with Sesame Street Safari. But it's not the only coaster on this list, as at number 15, we have Sand Serpent, the Mock Wild Mouse coaster, which just is a lot of fun for the whole family. Gives you some pretty fun turns in there as well. Coming in at 14, we're going to head to one of the water attractions at the park. This is Congo River Rapids, an absolutely gorgeous looking raft ride that definitely seems to get everyone absolutely soaked while getting some beautiful views of the entire park. At number 13, we've got another roller coaster, actually the park's first. This is Scorpion, a Schwarzkopf looping coaster with one vertical loop, as well as some really intense helixes. It's a super fun ride, a great first looping coaster for some of those up-and-coming coaster enthusiasts. At number 12, kind of a surprise to me, is a frog hopper ride or a small drop tower. This is Wild Surge, one of the more rare rides to find at the park just because of its location. It is kind of tucked away in a back corner, but it does give you some really great views from the top of the ride, as well as some cool theming completely surrounding you. Heading over to number 11 at this point, we do have the next water attraction at the park. This is Stanley Falls Log Flume, a really long log flume ride with some brilliant views of the park, and of course, you're going to get pretty wet on it too. At number 10, we have arguably one of the more popular attractions at the park. This is Cobra's Curse, a ridiculously well-themed family coaster that sends you up an elevator, going straight forward, backward, and of course spinning all around. This is, in my opinion, probably the best family coaster in the United States. At number 9, though, we're going to head to something a little slower, a little more oriented to the entire family, that is. This is the Serengeti Express, a great train ride that will even take you through savanna portions to get some fantastic views of a lot of the animals they house at Busch Gardens Tampa. Speaking of animals, we got to talk about number 8 here. This is Tigress, a Premier Skyrocket 2 model, which is just a 150-foot tall beast of a roller coaster, launching you forwards and backwards, and of course, going upside down all the way at that top height. Again, changing pace just a tiny bit from the extreme to the less extreme. Number 7 is Sky Ride, something that I sadly have not been able to experience quite yet, but from what I've heard, this amazing view of the savanna portion especially is something you have to experience at this park. And of course, the views of the surrounding area and towards downtown Tampa have got to be fantastic as well. Coming in at number 6 is an Intamin launch coaster. That's right, it's Cheetah Hunt. Puts you through multiple launches and through some fantastic looking trench work while making you feel like you're a cheetah on the prowl. It is such a fun ride, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's visiting Busch Gardens for the first time. Hopping over to number 5, we're going to go towards the back of the park now for Kumba, the B&M sit-down looping coaster. This thing is pretty dang intense if you ask me, and it definitely packs a punch. Every single inversion gives you some crazy positive G's, pushing you down into your seat, and even though it's ridiculously secluded, you'll definitely hear Kumba's roar from quite a ways away. All right, we're making it into the top 4 now, which means we're gonna head back to Stanleyville for Sheikra, the B&M dive coaster at the park. This 205-foot tall ride will suspend you looking straight towards the ground over a 90-degree drop before, of course, letting you plummet all the way down. That's not all this ride does, though. It looks fantastic with its theming and setting, and there's even a fun splashdown moment. So even if you don't want to ride Sheikra, you can still experience parts of the ride by getting pretty wet. Ooh, here we go. The top 3. This is where it's going to get very interesting, as number 3 brings us over to the Pantopia section of the park yet again for Falcon's Fury. This drop tower is just insane and is very unlike any other drop tower, at least in the United States, as it takes you up 330 feet in the air before tilting you directly towards the ground. This view looking all the way down to the ground is quite terrifying, to say the least. And even being a seasoned extreme rides lover, this shocked me the first time I rode it. I will say the best part of this ride is dangling all the way up there looking towards the ground. The drop is really fun, but it's over in a flash. But I will say, this is a ride that I will definitely ride every single time I'm at the park, because it is just such an intense and fun experience. Hopping over to number 2, we're going to head back towards Egypt for Montu. This is the B&M inverted coaster, arguably one of the more intense roller coasters at this park. I will say a lot of the coasters at Busch Gardens share that intense feeling of being pushed downwards into your seat, but Montu adds that all in with some fantastic theming all around the course itself, and a really long ride time, especially for the ride type. And I gotta say, out of all of the B&M inverted coasters I've been on, this is definitely my favorite, and it wholeheartedly deserves the number 2 spot. All right, you know what's coming. Number 1, literally beating out Montu by a full score of 0.9. This is Iron Gwazi, the brand new RMC hybrid coaster, America's tallest, fastest, and longest hybrid coaster. This thing is phenomenal. I was lucky enough to be invited to the media day preview for this roller coaster, and it blew me away every single time I rode it. This thing is intense in both pushing you down and into your seat with positive G-forces and pushing you out of your seat with negative G-forces. Of course, it's not actually pushing you out of your seat. It just makes you feel that floating feeling in your stomach, maybe some butterflies too. But the way it maneuvers at its top speed of 76 miles an hour is just unlike anything else I've ever experienced. Every element is insane, whether you're being whipped to the right, getting some fantastic airtime, or even graying out a little bit. This 100% deserves the number 1 spot at Busch Gardens Tampa, and I'm even thinking about flying back to Tampa just to get a couple more rides on this thing. Well, that wraps up, of course, your ranking of Busch Gardens Tampa. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Do you think the average of your scores worked out right, or are there some placements you'd shift around just a bit? Let me know down in the comments, and of course, while you're down there, make sure to go check out the description for the next polls that are already up for some more ranked by you videos in the future, including Sesame Place San Diego, SeaWorld Orlando, and Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. But with that, I hope you really enjoyed. I know I did, finding out what you guys think, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. We've got plenty of these videos coming soon, as well as a bunch of full ride reviews in the near future, especially for Busch Gardens Tampa. So with all that said, thank you so much again for watching. I really do appreciate it. But until next time, we'll see you on the next ride.